Aloha Ina, and welcome to Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future, brought to you by the Kiwani Foundation. I'm Imaikalani Kalahele, and here we are today on the island of Oahu in Kapalama, continuing our search to discover what it takes to turn armchair observers into active participants to create a better future for Hawaii. And we're very fortunate to have today with us a very special guest, Imaikalani Kalahele. Imai, welcome. Aloha. Welcome to Voices of Truth. Good to have you on the show. We wanted to have you on today because you are, among other things, an artist, a poet, and you write a lot of wonderful prose, I'm told. And we wanted to share with our viewers today the path you've taken to get where you are, as well as some of the extraordinary and beautiful pieces you've created. So the first thing I want to ask you is, when did you start drawing? When did you know that you wanted to do art, create these works of beauty?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's two questions. I think I started to draw about the time I figured out that drawing was more fun than learning how to write consecutive circles on a page after page after page. When did I want to be an artist? I don't know. I've always drawn. You know, art has always been something I did.
Even when you were this tall, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty much. But, you know, again, it's the kind of stuff you can do it when you're poor. All you need is no pencil.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. I just used to always like to draw and fart around and make stuff.
It's wonderful. And so as a child you were drawing. And what did you draw back then?
No, actually, okay, right on. I taught myself anatomy because we used to draw comics. Everybody used to draw muscle man kind of guys, okay. And it's amazing. Those, anatomically, they're correct. A little bulked up, you know, but actually now that's how the guys all on steroids. But nah, and we used to just do that, you know, and in intermediate school time, like basically I used to paint all the pipe boards. Everybody in school used to make pipe board. Okay, 7th grade, 8th grade, shop class. And I used to paint all the pipe boards. We used to do the kind of Big Daddy Rot. You know that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. We used to do Big Daddy Rot kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And just did, you know, just drew.
Yeah.
And just eventually, you know, it just came out to be. I studied for a while at the academy, kind of Saturday kind of classes, and I was exposed to some really dynamic teachers.
Wow.
You know, in high school and at the academy, and they showed me the other side of what art was. You know, I mean, because we only knew like the cartoon kind of side, right?
Yeah.
You know.
What other side did they show you?
Just how much bigger this whole notion of creating ideas was, and that when you think of nuts kind of stuff, that's all right. You know, it's called creative process, man. Yeah, no, it just, you know, that whole other genre that. Well, where I come from, see, I come from Fort Street. These kinds of things was really never our venue. You know, even though the academy was just down the road. You know, we just never go there. You know, we knew what paintings was because they were in books. We knew what paintings were because in the movies you would see them.
Yeah.
But not to just sit down and look at them. You know.
So even though it was geographically close to you, it was yet a world away.
Oh yeah, no, it was very much a world away.
Yeah.
Because see, when I lived in town, this was before '59, up until '59, and back then town was town was actually one of the largest Hawaiian communities in Hawaii. Everybody who came from the other islands to come find job, eventually at one time or another lived in town. And we used to live back then. We used to live in a rooming house kind of. Yeah. And the whole family lived in one room, and community kitchen, community bathrooms. Community kitchen was good though. Right on, man. 10 families cooking one time, bro.
Sounds great. So at some point, your teachers who made an impact on you exposed you to the other side of art.
Mm.
So how did that change you? What did that do to you inside when you saw that other world all of a sudden?
Nah, actually, okay, okay. We're supposed to be candidates here. Okay, shoot, nah, okay. One of the reasons why art was really important to me is, see, I never learned to read. I spent 5 years in McKinley. I had a 5-year plan, man. But Vietnam was happening. Yeah, it was a good place to be because we all knew where we was going as soon as we got drafted. I wasn't going to college. It took me 45 minutes to fill out a one-page application for a simple job, and 90% of the words spelled wrong. That's where I was when I graduated at 20 years old from McKinley. So I never learned to do that stuff. Art was always art, and for a while my voice. I sang for a while. These were these two things that I could do, like how everybody can read and how everybody can write. I could do these. And it was just my world, you know. I just played in my own world. I didn't know anybody in the other world. All the gallery guys and all kinds of stuff. I had not a clue, man. You know, I used to just sit in my house and just paint like that, and then Louis used to just give me art supplies, and I'd sit in my house and paint like that.
Wow. So they gave you supplies, and you were able to create messages, but in a different way than most people.
Well, I think that came much later. This was just really, see, the only real, I mean, if you can say formal kind of training, was really the period in high school. It was the period I spent with Louis Paul, with Minnie Fujita, and with Charlie Higa. As it turned out, at that time, they were three of the hotter painters in Hawaii. Two of them were local. And Louis came. Louis was this skinny little kid who used to like to draw, man. And I think that's why he used to help me out, man. Because I was just a skinny kid who used to like to draw.
So three of the hottest artists at the time in Hawaii were actually your mentors, huh?
Yeah.
It's great. You know, before when we were at gallery downtown, you showed me some of Louis' work, and it's phenomenal. I can see how that would have influenced you. So then after high school, what's the next stage in your art?
Oh, the next stage in my art didn't happen for about 5 years. I spent 5 years in the Army. Like I said, I used to sing. And actually, I was really lucky. And outside of Nam, I spent most of my time singing in choruses in the Army. So but did almost no art. Said I got a couple care packages from Louis with some pencils and pens and stuff like that. But it was just fun around stuff. Because there was no time. And I really didn't start picking up my art again until I got back home.
So your art was literally in the deep freeze or on hold for 5 years?
Yeah.
Amazing. And then you got home and you picked it up again?
Yeah. Well, when that's the only thing you know how to do about.
Yeah, but that's still pretty impressive. It's very impressive to not do something for 5 years and then pick it up again. And, did you pick up where you left off? Did you start at another level?
I think, up until the time I went in, for me, that was really like, burning your chops, man. I was just learning how to paint. I was just learning. I know a lot of people who had Louis as a teacher. One of the things I used to really hate about him is that you'll sit there and you're working on a class project, right? And you're just doing a study or whatever. And Louis will come over and if he sees a very obvious technique thing that he would like to teach you, he had no problem in reaching down and grabbing a brush and painting right over your stuff. Most people would flip. I mean, it was wow, and I was going, wow, thanks, eh? Oh, yeah, it looked good, man. Because I was learning my chops, and I think that's basically what I was doing all that period. I was just learning what this thing is, you know, and not even having any thought about direction or what I want to do with these or whatever. I knew that I wasn't going to be that small percentage that was going to make a living on this. I mean, I was that much of a realist. And I knew the other thing that you do with this kind of art is you got to teach it. Well, in order to do that, then you got to go to school, you got to go do all that, and that was out of the question. So, yeah, so, you know, you just used to paint. And it's amazing how many, politically, once we started to organize, we started to meet a lot of different people. It's amazing how many Hawaiians who are civic community people who are painters. We run into these brothers. Eric Emos, man. People know him as a community organizer, a youth worker, community developer. Yeah, man, he's a phenomenal painter.
So some of these people keep this like below the radar, huh?
Well, it's like, you know, man, it's all we do. You know, guitarists play guitar, us guys do these. Whether we make a living of it or whether it pays for itself, none of that has anything to do with what we're doing. Yeah. It better not be, because if it was, none of us would be doing this stuff, man.
So, Imai, let me ask you: when did it occur to you that your art might be something that a way to send a message out, or something that other people would actually enjoy seeing, appreciate your works of art, and it actually began to take on a larger meaning here?
Well, that's a bunch of different questions. Okay, wait, let me take the middle one.
Okay. Do it.
What was the middle one now? You know, art was just something we did. When it took on, okay, T-shirts.
Okay. T-shirts
and movement posters. This is the old days when if you could find a Mimeo machine,
Oh, the thing before the
and everybody started going, oh, this ink is a trip, man. Yeah, you know, when people needed stuff, I didn't have space or the means at the time to do any kind of work. So, you know, I always had my drawing pads and stuff. And when we were doing a lot of political stuff in the old days, you know, everybody needed a T-shirt design. Now, you know, not the kind, let's go call somebody. Again, now we need them designed tonight. And so I was really good at doing the kind of stuff like now. And yeah, and that's kind of when I saw that there was a place in the movement, other than organizing, other than philosophizing about things, that there was a practical means. You know, one of the dilemmas I used to go through, well, yeah, when I was younger, my hair was black. You know, okay, say, this was like the olden days, like, okay, where everything you do really needed to be functional within a structure. What else, guys? I mean, you know, if you gotta eat, but you know, this stuff not gonna do nothing for you. But then it worked out that, you know, well, there are other things, you know. Once you're full, then what you gonna do? You know, and I didn't like the direction that we were going at the time, visually, in what was Hawaiian. You know, at that time, what was Hawaiian? There was absolutely nothing Hawaiian to any of the shirt patterns. There was even the stuff that we call tapa was Tongan or Samoan. So we, you know, this whole identity of what is Maori, what is this? You know? We used to use this phrase in the early 80s. Our mission was to put the upepe back on the faces of our people.
For our viewers that watch the show outside of Hawaii, what does that mean?
Okay, upepe We Hawaiians, one of our classical features is a broad nose. My mom. And because we have been a sellable commodity for a while, we have been beautified to where, things like broad noses and dark skins, is really not too good. You need a little slant in your eye. You can't be that big. And so really the generic, we became a generic something as to what Hawaiian was. And for most of us who were painting and who also had a political conscience, well, back up. That's not what Mamara. Mamara never looked like that. My granddaughter looked like that. But no, we start talking about it. No, whoa, let's back up. And that was the same time we were also doing things like rediscovering what was Maori. It was a time that we stepped back and said, I don't even deal with this word Hawaiian. I mean, we can talk about all this nonsense as to why we are Hawaiian. We are Hawaiian because Cook spent all his time off the island of Hawaii. I.e., why everybody Americans? Because guys are going to use this guy's map. That's a hell of a way to name people. All these people Indians. Why? Because this dummy was lost in the ocean. And because it was during the political movement, we needed to say other things. We needed to put a more Hawaiian face on things. That caused us to start to look back to the old stuff. Like some of us are not hula people. So we were not privy to the chants. We don't speak the language. But this stuff important for us. And I think at that time we also realized that it is important that we become intellectual about these things. We sit down and, because, hey man, before the overthrow, how many Hawaiian newspapers had? And what was the Hawaiian population at that time? We were literate people.
Yeah, many newspapers, like 100 or something. Yeah.
And within a generation and a half, we went to be one of the dumbest guys on the rock. Hello. So we were at that point where we were starting to change these attitudes. Fighting for our land. Fighting for the right just to be. And a lot of that, because that was my venue. Because art was my venue. That's where, and because I don't like writing long, boring things.
Okay.
It was an easier, it was my avenue of expression.
Great. We have some of your pieces here with us right now. Why don't we look at them and you tell us a little bit about them. And first of all, let's start with this beautiful piece here on canvas. What is the medium?
Well, it's acrylic on canvas.
It's just gorgeous.
It's a work in progress, actually. That's why my son was holding it gingerly. He thought it was still wet. Okay. One of the things I've been doing with my work is to look for solutions. I think lately most of my stuff has come out that way. And solutions, what kind of solutions? I'm glad to see in the newspaper lately, the last several months, people are starting to actually use the too many guys line in the paper. When we talk about traffic, when we talk about water, when we talk about sewer, too many guys, Jack. That's the only solution. And that solution comes from where? That solution is really an old solution for we island people. I think we island people have something to offer, a lesson to offer the planet. And that lesson is, look at what happened to us. This is real, Jack. We're the small frogs that don't happen anymore in the pond. You've already done this in Africa. You've already done this in the Americas. You got to learn the lessons. And the lessons really is not to step back in time and to be old and ancient like that. I think the lessons is how do we do what we need need to do, and where do we look for our answers? I look more and more towards my ancestry, and I'm going to say that because and I need to caveat that by saying that I do not speak the language. I am not a scholar on the old writings and the old philosophy. I've studied what I've studied, and the rest is Wuhani. But for me, the answers really is look to the gifts of Papa. Papa being Earth Mother.
Yes.
Papa has the answer, and the answer, like in this painting, basically what it talks about is there is an answer, and the answer is in the ceremonies of the old. Meaning, we need to go back to the understanding that we are all a part of everything, and we need to function and behave that way. We just need to. And if we're, you can look for solutions. Well, like Stevie said in the Holy Book. Well, I don't know. The holiest land for those three religions have not gotten along for the last 1,000 years, and they look like they're about to blow up that side of the planet. So maybe I don't want to look over there for my answers.
You might tell us about these pieces here, would you? These are really extraordinary.
Okay, part of, you'll see some more sculptures later. My sculpture form. I like things that are
Hold these up for us,
old, in feel. I like things, I like using the media of the old, hair, fiber.
So this is real hair?
Basket, yeah.
This is your hair?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was a lot younger when I did this one. Yes, and I like the notion that I'm not a weaver.
Hold these up for the camera so they can see them, because these are beautiful figures here, as you can see, and maybe we can get a front on shot of them, and then a side shot. What do you see the profile of these? They're just incredible. And what is used down here, Imai?
It's coconut fiber, rope, and hair and wire. I use wire. Yeah, because it gives me a better move. I can design the piece better.
Wow.
Yeah, and the development of this came from the development of the political philosophies. While looking into sculptural forms, I'm not a wood carver. I am not a wood person. Too much work, wood.
You have another piece called the Kumulipo, and it's about the Kumulipo genealogical chant. That is incredible. When I walked inside and saw it, it literally took my breath away. And what I would love to do is for us to go inside right now and take a look at that piece, that phenomenal piece, and share it with our viewers. So let's go do that right now. So Imaikalani, we're now inside, and this is your piece called the Kumulipo. Tell us about this. How did you do this? This is incredible.
Well, actually, the piece is not called Kumulipo.
Is it?
It's in the Kumulipo, in the first was, the first verses, first lines. They talk about the birthing of Kumulipo and the female counterpart. And for me, that's what this is. It's that time when you just come out of Po and things are happening.
Out of the darkness.
And out of the primal. And utilizing Hawaiian metaphor, dealing with the dualities of everything. For me, it's a really popular theme because it gives you a lot of room to deal with speculation on things happening. And like I said before, using different kinds of imageries to describe who we are.
Tell our viewers how you did this piece. What did you use?
One of my favorite medias, because actually I'm almost a street artist. is markers. I really love markers. I've been, ever since, I remember we used to borrow the teachers' ones before. There were these really heavy ink things. Wow. But I just liked the way they worked. It was like using a brush with a pen.
So what kind of markers did you use? Sharpies?
Sharpies.
No kidding.
Yeah, Sharpies and Markalots.
Wow. This whole thing was done with Sharpies and
Markalots.
That's amazing. That is just amazing. Wow.
And you can draw with them. It's kind of like a cross between drawing and painting, where the brush, the results you get is almost like painting, but you're actually using more of a drawing kind of feel.
Incredible. Incredible. Thank you very much for sharing this phenomenal piece with us. And now let's go back outside.
Shoots.
Imai, mahalo for taking us in and showing us the Kumulipo. That really is a phenomenal piece. We have about a minute left. I wanted to ask you, some of our viewers may be sitting out there watching us and saying, well, I mean, he can do that. He's an accomplished artist, but I could never do something like that. For those people that are thinking that, what would you say to them?
Well, like I said, I graduated from 5 years of McKinley, not knowing how to read. I write poetry. I'm writing a play. It's really not a matter of. It's a matter of if you want to do it, man. Draw, man. Whenever I teach classes and kids ask me, what is the trip? The trip is draw. If you write. How do you become a good guitar player? You play, man. And that's the trip. You just gotta do it, man. And things like art, you can make art out of anything. Out of anything. Wow. And that's the wonderful thing about contemporary art. Wow. Is that you can make art out of anything. Wow. And anybody can make art.
What a great way to wrap it up. Imaikalani, mahalo for being on the show. We appreciate it. And you're really a phenomenal human being and a wonderful artist. Mahalo. Thank you for being with us. This has been Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's Future, brought to you by the Kiwani Foundation. I'm Imaikalani Kalahele. And until next time, ahui ho.